Okay, hey, welcome back. And in this vlog, I wanted to just kind of go over probably my most favorite part of this solo filmmaking journey, and that has been the prop building and creating a costume for my character. Now, remember what I said and I probably say it in all of these vlogs, is you gotta be realistic and practical about how you approach your movie and your project. So the resources that you have available to you, whether they be props, costumes, equipment, and of course the geographic location you're located in. I mean, I'd love to make a Roman piece, a Roman movie, but I don't have that kind of backdrop. I live in West Texas out in the desert, so it's not going to really lend itself to that type of adventure. But with me, this is being a dystopian piece, science fiction, near future. I could have a lot more leeway as to not be so dead on accurate like you would have to be with a period piece. Or let's say I was doing a movie about a guy who was running a hedge fund, and I had to have shots in a high-rise New York office building, and I sure you could get royalty stock footage and work around it and get tight interior shots and create that look. But with this piece, it's going to be super easy because it hasn't happened yet, right? It's near future in this character in this movie, and dystopian, so everything's all tattered and worn out. So work within your means, work with what's available to you, and it just makes it a lot more easy. So I'm a big fan of trying to create practical effects. So a big part of practical effects, of course, is going to be the backgrounds that you're using, the exterior shots, interior shots, the costume, and the props. And that's probably been my most favorite part because it allowed me to be creative. And I think for a lot of us as we get older, we tend to suppress that creative energy and endeavor, and trying to be mature adults in a mature world, that can get boring. Trust me, I remember I told you I was a cop for almost 30 years, so that I don't want to be responsible anymore. I just want to be creative and have fun and think like I did when I was a teenager. So let me just show you real quick what I got, and again, the inspiration, if you'll see up on the screen, was this image from the AI that I found on Instagram, and it was totally perfect. And then you see the movie poster here again. This is how I work. I work ass backwards, if you will. Now, you shouldn't create a story going from the movie poster backwards, but that's what I did. I'll be honest with you. You should have the character and a story to tell and then go forward, right? But I went backwards, so it works for me. That's how I'm working this. But let me just show you real quick the stuff that I put together here. It's all sitting here in my garage, and just show you again based on the inspiration of that photo. So we'll start with probably my favorite part is this helmet. Now, how cool is that? I got this bad boy. You can get this on Amazon. It'll run you between 79 bucks to 100. But I ended up getting it on a place called AliExpress. Now, if you're not familiar with AliExpress, it's like an international version of Amazon, right? Now, the big hesitation or risk with AliExpress is that it can take 2 or 3 months to get something, and that's what I used to believe. But when I saw the price for this, now remember on Amazon it was about 80 to 100 bucks. I got it on AliExpress for, I think it was like 38 bucks. So a big savings there, about half the cost. And it didn't take 2 or 3 months. It literally took 2 or 3 weeks. And I have ordered several things from there, and I'll show you some of the other stuff I ordered. And I not only got it for less than you will get it on Amazon, but I got it within 2 or 3 weeks. And I live in the middle of the United States, right? I live here in Texas. So I think you'll be lucky. At least that's been my experience several times over. And you can save money. Now, saving that 10 or 20 bucks one time, okay, I can eat the cost if I'm going to get it overnight on Amazon Prime. But you multiply that by 5 or 6 of these little things that you need to order, and then all of a sudden you've got $200 or $300 that you saved that can be applied to your gas money, your room and board, other things. Always going to be plenty of things to have to buy on a movie project, trust me. So this is a centerpiece. And what's cool about this is it comes with these lights that I haven't installed yet. They're battery powered on the inside. I think on this particular model they can be installed. Let's see if I got that in frame on the outside, but I think I'm going to install them on the inside This is a tinted or dark plastic, but with this glowing light on the inside, it's just gonna kind of add texture. I like to use that word a lot. Texture, layers to add to some realism. And then remember, you're going to add sound effects. So you got that hum sound, you know, lighting, glowing lighting, and then it all starts to look a lot real. So this is my favorite part. Yeah, I'm like a kid, right? So this is cool. I got the helmet. So that was a big thing. And then other things like, okay, so try to follow an order here. Pants. So pants and a shirt for this character. He's wearing that outfit based on that AI image. And so it's just stuff I already had laying around the house. Now, luckily I like kind of similar colors. As you can tell, I'm wearing a black shirt. A lot of my stuff is black or gray. And so what I did is I had these old hiking pants, and I think I got these at Walmart for like 24 bucks. But honestly, between that and this shirt, you can find this stuff if you don't have what you're looking for at a Salvation Army, some kind of what I call local boutique shops, you know, used clothing, and find something that you can use for your character. So whether you buy it at Wally World at full price or get it for $5 or $10, I mean, pants like this you could probably get for $5, maybe $10 at most at a Salvation Army or Goodwill. Same with the shirt, you know, and save the money. And then what you're going to do with all this stuff and all the other props I'm going to show you is you're literally going to add texture. Now, I'm no professional prop builder, but I was really happy with the results. So bought a gallon of some off kind of a olive green gray color. I thought it was really cool, and literally didn't dye this stuff like a professional. Just use a brush and literally just brush it. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not going to put this in the washer machine, but I just needed to give it that textured look, and it's kind of hard to see with this lighting, but just to add some texture and different kinds of layers, it's going to really add to how this looks. So got the pants, got the shirt. Now again, using that AI image as an inspiration, I needed to add other parts, right? So gloves. Originally I had just basic black gloves, but I found these cool looking plastic gloves at Lowe's. So you can see it's got some texture to it. It's for gripping and for people that work, you know, with construction materials. But it was a perfect color. Oh, I got to cut that tag off. I don't want that showing. And it was already gray, but again, just using my brush and that just kind of add, can't maybe notice it in this lighting, but whatever you can do to add to the layering of your props or your costume is going to help give it that authenticity. At least I believe so. So we got the gloves, right? And then I wanted to add some armor pieces like on that AI image. So these are basically some ABS plastic protective knee pads and elbow pads for people that ride motorcycles, okay? And so perfectly affordable. Again, I found this on AliExpress. I got the set, which is this, what you see here, some articulating knee pads and elbow pads for about 39 bucks on AliExpress. On Amazon, it could run you $69 to $99, and probably a lot more than that. No need, again, to buy top tier stuff. Again, this is all going to be used in a movie. And so I bought this stuff, and a lot easier to just buy it, in my opinion, at 30 bucks, and to try to make it out of ABS plastic and stuff like that. It would just take too much time and effort. So for me, got this, again, applied that same paint that I did on the pants and the shirt, and then added to these pieces. And then here's another last piece of that armor is this chest and back protection. So I got the same thing there, applied a coating, and if you'll see, you may notice there, you know, some of the paint flakes off and scrapes off, and it's still black underneath, but it's fine because it's supposed to be, in this character who's living out in the wasteland, part of his look, right? So things aren't going to be perfect or clean. So added that, and look, matches. You could tell a lot of this stuff is made by the same factories out of China. So luckily we still have access to this stuff, and it's very affordable. The chest piece alone could run you about 60 to 70 bucks on Amazon. But I got this also on AliExpress for around, seems like everything's under 50 bucks. So I got about 38 bucks. So like I said, you save 10 or 20 bucks. And if you could just wait those 2 or 3 weeks instead of worrying about getting it in 2 or 3 days like you do on Amazon Prime, you're going to save a lot of money. So I think totally worth it. So this is cool. Got that. Luckily for the shoes, now of course you can wear tennis shoes and stuff like this, but I got these, I already had these boots. Now these aggressive looking boots are snake boots. They have a protective coating. Originally they were tan, like a bright tan, and I use these because I spend a lot of time out in the desert. And yeah, once in a while I run into rattlesnakes. So it happens. It's a thing. Luckily I've never been bit, but once in a while, if I'm going to be bushwhacking through some thick brush when I'm outdoors or backpacking, I may wear these. But I went ahead and used them. And remember I said they were a bright tan, so I just applied that paint that I got real cheap at Walmart for the color that I was looking for. And the same paint that I applied to the pants, to the knee pads, the chest pad, I also applied to this. So it works out perfectly. And what I'll show you at the end of this video, I'll actually put this whole stuff on. You know, I'm going to have that whole look for the outfit or the costume. So again, by itself, maybe not a big deal, but once you add the whole thing together, it really starts to flush out the character, and it helps to put me in character, you know, when I'm doing this stuff. And then I added a utility belt because I need to add more textures, more details. So I had this old construction utility belt. I used to work in construction. I told you I'm old, right? So I did 10 years of construction. My dad made me start working at the age of 14. So I worked, you know, from 15 to 25, I was in construction. You know, he paid me well, so I thank him for that. But I used to have an old construction belt that, you know, you hold your hammer and your nails and your drill motor. But had this sitting around. It used to be kind of a bright blue color, but I just ended up painting it to match up with everything else. So again, just adding textures and layer. So once you put these on, see the buckle used to be a bright chrome, but I don't want that for this look. So again, using that AI image as inspiration, added this layer, and that really adds to the whole look. And then probably my favorite part is in this character, he carries a rifle. Now originally I was going to get a Nerf gun, which you can totally do. Look it up on YouTube. Plenty of people that do Nerf guns and create futuristic looking weapons. This is kind of a imitate, or it's not an imitation, it's a replica of a AK-47 with a little bit of a different variant. And originally it had, of course, like all airsoft rifles, it had the bright orange tip. But I ended up painting the whole thing to give it that distressed look, and then added little props on here. This is, I think in the military they call this a PEC unit. This is a functioning one. You'll find a lot of this stuff on Amazon. Oops, hope I didn't damage my sensor with that. It's got a laser, it's got a light, and then I've got a functional red dot right here. Again, stuff I already had, but you could buy this stuff, like the military version of this little laser finder designator could run you about $1,200 to $2,200. I ain't gonna be spending that kind of money on all of this stuff, right? So I got this for like 50 bucks. You know, spend a little money to give it that realistic look. And then I already had this from an old shotgun that I used to use on the department. It's a 6-hour red dot. Even these are very functional. It's a legit red dot. I got that probably for 125 bucks. It's on the lower end of what's usable with firearms, but you can even buy an imitation one of these for about 50 bucks. Again, it just had adding textures and layers, you know, same with the strap here, just adding to the look of this particular prop. So probably my favorite prop. Now, yes, I have real firearms like this, but I would highly advise you to not bring that to the set, especially if you're working with other people, because accidents do happen. There could be an unintended discharge, which is, there's no such thing as accidental discharge. I mean, in order for a weapon to fire, I'm just giving you a quick rant. you got to have your finger on that trigger and pull. And if it's a real firearm, nothing good can come of it, right? So we can all thank Alec Baldwin for that. So sadly, but even for me, even though I'm the only one working on the set and I am proficient with firearms, I am not going to bring a real firearm to the set. I've got this prop, which will be totally good. And then when I need to add the effects of actual firing, there I will of course use VFX or CGI elements to add, and then of course the sound design, right? Sound design is a big part. We'll talk about that in another episode, to adding to the realism of the movie. So just wanted to show you that, a few things that I had put together. It was the most fun I had, because just trying to be creative and thinking like a little kid again, playing cowboys and Indians. It was a lot of fun. So hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions, please comment below and let me know if I can help you. But again, the main thing with all of this is stick with what you have access to, whether it's the funds, the financial means, the buildings and the environment. If you live out in the countryside, then maybe we have to redesign the movie in a different way. In my case, I'm going to be driving out to a location in Utah, which is totally going to sell the dystopian ambience that I'm looking for. If I lived in the big city, maybe I would use old abandoned buildings that I could get access to. We don't want to be criminal trespassing, but if I had access to it or get permission, use that to my advantage. So again, kind of like I said, you create the movie and the story as a solo filmmaker with what you have access to and with what you can afford. So I hope you found that helpful. I know I've been yapping too long, so we will just go to the next episode and see how this journey goes. So I am determined to get this dang movie done, man, by the fall. So we will see. Talk is cheap, as I like to say. So we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks. Okay, this wouldn't have been a complete video if I hadn't put the whole dang thing on. That noise you hear in the background, that's my fan, because as I record this, we're in the middle of summer here in Texas. It's hot, man. It is friggin' hot. There's no environmentally controlled soundstage here, not on this solo filmmaking set. But hopefully you can see, using that mirror behind me, just kind of the overall look of the outfit, or the end result. Oops, this is one of the problems with wearing the complete costume, especially these gloves, is this thing dangling is my wireless. Oh shoot, I just hit the camera. Oh my god. This wireless lav microphone. So obviously, well, being that this is a science fiction piece, this kind of showing through on the costume is not such a bad thing. But if I didn't want that to be shown, especially with those lights on, I'd want to hide it. So let me see if I can. That's the other thing. Besides the gloves, I can't barely see out of this helmet. So it's kind of a bunch of accidents waiting to happen. Where am I at? Okay. All right, well, hopefully you can still hear me. This is a complete costume. Again, try to ignore the background for what it is, but this would be kind of the overall look that I'm going for. So we just do test shots. Of course, we're not dealing with lighting here. Yes, this head turning of mine, that's acting. In case you didn't know, that's acting. And then walking back. So remember, we got to add the music, the textures, stuff like that. And I don't know if you can see from back there, this light. I'll show you something kind of cool. And this will be a different episode when we get to lighting. Is lighting, sound design, all of that stuff adds to the overall look. So again, just being a one-man band, it can be difficult to get these shots in. Just adding to this whole journey of a solo filmmaker. Challenges. How do I do this? How do I do that? Biggest thing I've learned so far, patience. Try not to get aggravated. I got to put my gloves on. I got to set the camera rolling, get into position, make sure I'm in focus, and we'll discuss more about that in other episodes. So, oh man. Whew. See, I'm here. I'm underneath here. Oh my God, that's bright. See, when I'm looking through this tinted glass, it's really low. But yeah, lighting, super important. If color, temperature, lighting, it all comes into play. And then of course on this camera, everything's set kind of to auto. But let's say I wanted to really dim down this look. And there, okay, see, oh look, that's better. Dim is good. Maybe that's too dim, but that just all adds to the look of the image. So that's the interesting part. That's the challenge of filmmaking, is all the technical aspects, the creative aspects, and bringing it all together to make a fun little movie in this case. So, all right, that's it. I'm done. I'm sweating. I'm going crazy here. Bye.